Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Sunday night at Darul Uloom Kantaria in Bharuch, Gujarat, India. This Majlis took place after the Taraweeh Salat, Sunday, the 25th of Ramadan, 1444, corresponding with the English date, 16th of April 2023. Hazrat Wala is saying that the Akabirin, their works, I have gathered it and put it together. That's my work and that's what I do, put the works of the Akabirin together. And there is a great need for this. So here, Hazrat Wala is discussing about the comprehensiveness of the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum. So when we say que Sahaba, Hazrat Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ki jami'iyat, Hazrat Sahaba ki jami'iyat. And this was the impression of Hazrat Maulana Ali Mia Sahab, that when he went to Allahabad, he said that I did not see such a type of comprehensiveness in any other personality other than Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab. So here we are speaking about the Sahaba. Allah Ta'ala bless us with the right path and tariq to Him. Many people, okay, let's continue and we will discuss. We will now describe the comprehensiveness of the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum and conclude this discussion. They were the first students and disciples of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There can be no one in the ummah who is more comprehensive than them. Abdullah ibn Utbah radiyallahu ta'ala an relates that on the day that Hazrat Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala was martyred, he owned 150,000 dinars, 1 million dirhams, and some plots of land in the areas between Aris, Khaybar and Wadi ul-Qura, which were valued at 200,000 dinars. 1/8 of the estate of Hazrat Zubair radiyallahu ta'ala was valued at 50,000 dinars. Now note, his entire estate was valued at 400,000 dinars. He also left behind 1,000 horses and 1,000 slaves. Amr ibn al-As radiyallahu ta'ala left behind 300,000 dinars. As for Abdul Rahman ibn Auf radiyallahu ta'ala, his affluence is so well known that there is no need to mention it. The world was in the hands of these people, but not in their hearts. When they did not have it, they remained patient, and when they had it, they expressed gratitude. Hazrat Wala is speaking about how wonderful these words are. It goes on like this here, और दुनिया इन हजरात के हाथों में थी, दिलों में न थी, जब न मिली थी, सबर किया, जब मिली शुक्र किया. So this is the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum. The world was in the hands of these people, but not in their hearts. When they did not have it, they remained patient. When they had it, they expressed their gratitude to Allah. Now in the beginning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused them to suffer poverty. When the nur and spiritual effulgence reached its peak and their inner selves were purified, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showered the world unto them. Had they received it in the beginning, it would have probably affected them. When they received it after Iman and Yaqeen, faith and conviction, after Iman and faith and their conviction were firmly embedded in their hearts, they used the world as a trustworthy worthy treasurer, and fulfilled the following order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala: وَأَنْفِقُوا مِمَّا جَعَلَكُمْ مُسْتَخْلَفِينَ فِيهِ. Spend of that which He has made you trustees. And it is for this reason that during the Makki Zindagi, Allah Ta'ala did not allow them to do jihad, or there was not much of the ahkam or of tijarat, etc. This all came in Medina Munawwara, and rather the Makki Zindagi was that of poverty. Now, Ibn Qayyim asks his Ustad Allama Ibn Taymiyyah about the wazaif and the awrad, etc. So then he went on to say that, listen, this eating and drinking, etc., they are not mani' najat. They will not prevent you from salvation. But listen, if you want maqamat aliyah, then most definitely it could be a deterrent. For that day, actually, you need mujahada. You need to carry out these wazaif, these awrad, etc. So great maqamat, etc. So we need to create i'tidal in ourselves. Hazrat Thanvi had such type of tawakkul in him, and greater than that was even that of Hazrat Maulana Gangohi. You know, I said to one of these seniors about Lami'ud Darari and Kawkabud Durri that you people have made shuruhat of this year, you have printed it, you have done this, you have done that. But tell me, what about the maktubat of Hazrat Maulana Rashid Ahmad Gangohi? And Hazrat Wala then went on to say that Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to say that, listen, whatever I received from Hazrat Thanvi, I received. But I benefited tremendously from the Maktubat-e Rashidiyya and the Maktubat-e Ma'asumiyya. So, na ifrat baqi hai, na tafreet. Ishq kamil ho gaya, mu'tadil ho gaya. That listen, no ifrat and no tafreet. We're not doing below or lesser than what we have to do, and we're not exaggerating and doing beyond that also, going over all limits. So when love has become, when it is perfected, then moderation becomes the lot of a person. So Hazrat Wala is saying, rather I add this to it, jab ilm kamil ho gaya, mu'tadil ho gaya, when the ilm is rectified, corrected, true, proper, then a person has complete and total moderation. And for this very ilm, Hazrat Maulana Rashid Ahmad, Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi, all of them went to Hazrat Haji Sahib for that reason, so that they could get i'tidal in their ilm, so that they could get durustagi, so that they can correct their ilm. So Hazrat Wala is quoting the couplets there, that tell me about that person who's got his earthen pot connected to that of the ocean. You know, even these dams sometimes dry up, and huge water schemes, etc. But what can be the condition of a person who's got his earthen pot connected to the ocean? Meaning, the person who's connected directly to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will there be any end to his nur, his knowledge, his ilm, etc.? Allahu Akbar. So, in this tariq and in this path, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with i'tidal. So Hazrat Wala was mentioning there in the start also that many people didn't even have their own houses. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib, by using me as a means, gave the money and I forwarded it to them, eventually due to which they had their houses built. Now this is what we are learning from the Sahaba, the Jami'iyat. I just spoke to you about the wealth that Allah Ta'ala had given them. Now, somebody asked about Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib, that how is it that everybody came and bowed down in front of him, meaning sat in his company and started drinking from his fountain of knowledge, wisdom, piety, spirituality? The answer was quite simple, because of the wus'at that he had. Hazrat Maulana Ali Mia Sahib used to say, it's even written in the kitabs, that jazba and that passion, that enthusiasm, that thirst, that quest, that I seen, that jazba, that passion, which I seen in Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ilyas Sahib, I seen the very same thing in Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib. Yes, the Naw'iyat was different, but both of them had the same type of jazba. So what is this tasawwuf? It is ta'mirul dhahir wal batin. Making abad the zahir and the batin, building the zahir and the batin. The zahir, the external how, by means of a'mal, and the internal by means of akhlaq. Now look at Hazrat Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala an, what he has to say. We're just going to go through that. Hazrat Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala an said, and he was afqahu sahaba, rather the whole fiqh Hanafi is based on mostly Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala an. Now he says, the one who wants to adopt a certain way must adopt the way of those who have passed on, because there is still a possibility of a living person slipping up. A living person's way can be adopted as long as he remains on the path. Those whose path can be permanently adopted are the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum. They were the most superior of the nation. They were the most pious of heart, the deepest in knowledge, and the least pretentious. أبرها قلوبا وأعمقها علما وأقلها تكلفا. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala selected them for the companionship of His Prophet and the establishment of His deen. Therefore, acknowledge their merit, follow in their footsteps, and as far as possible, make their, meaning the Sahaba's character and habits, the standard, because they were on true guidance. You know, Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala also said about this, the same thing, more or less. He says that if the latter people want to have reformation and change themselves, they would have to make ruju and turn and look at how did the former people do it, meaning the Sahaba, and that's the only way they will able to get salvation. Now, this Sahabi goes into the court of the king and he takes his spear and he starts moving apart and shifting away the silken cloth that is laid down on the floor. And they said, Huzur, listen, this here has all been done to welcome you. And the Sahabi was so straight and upfront. He said, Nahana Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam an labsil hariri wa dibaj. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam prevented us from the silk. And then he said, Kaise aaye? How did you come, and what's it all about? And then he says, I've come to take you out of the narrowness of this world into the vastness of the akhirat. I came to invite you for this. Another occasion, a Sahabi is there eating in the court of the king, and this morsel falls down, due to which he lifts it up, cleans it up, and is about to then eat it. When the ambassador said that these people are Ajamis, they are non-Arabs, they will understand this, they will not be able to understand this type of thing. He said it softly. The Sahabi spoke up loud and clear so that even the king could hear. He said, why should I abandon the sunnah of my Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam because of these fools? Sunnah. Hazrat Mujaddid Al-Faythani says that after eating that power nap, the qaylula, a person understanding that to be sunnah, then takes that nap. It is even more meritorious and superior than carrying out so many qurbanis and udhiyah. The Sahaba, their khidmat, appreciate the greatness and the merits of these personalities. The purpose of Hazrat Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala in saying these words was was to teach us to respect the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum. We must not have the slightest evil thought about them. We must not show any disrespect to them. For them, we must love them. We must adopt their ways and their mannerisms. We must take lessons from their lives. We must accept them as our leaders and follow them. The hadith establishes the virtue and the excellence of the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum, because they were the most superior after the Anbiya alayhimus salatu wassalam and possessed the perfect aptitude for the acceptance of guidance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala selected them for the companionship of His final messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Allah Ta'ala makes reference to this in the Quran. وَأَلْزَمَهُمْ كَلِمَةَ التَّقْوَى وَكَانُوا أَحَقَّ بِهَا وَأَهْلَهَا, and kept them steadfast on the spirit of piety, and they were most worthy and deserving of it. Now some narrations state that Allah Ta'ala looked at the hearts of all the servants and found the heart of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam to be the purest and the most effulgent. So He placed the light, the noor of prophethood in his heart. He then found the hearts of the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum to be extremely pure, clean and eligible. So He selected them for the companionship of His Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Hazrath Sufyan al-Thawri rahmatullah alayh relates from Hazrat Huzaifa ibn al-Yaman radiyallahu ta'ala an, who said that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, اقتدوا بالذين من بعدي أبي بكر وعمر واهتدوا بهدي عمار وتمسكوا بعهد ابن عبد. Follow these two after me, Abu Bakr and Umar. Emulate the ways of Ammar and hold on firmly to the covenant of Ibn Abd, referring to Hazrat Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala an. So we even have the mushajarat, these disputes and arguments that were amongst the Sahaba, the disputes of the Sahaba. So regarding that, we should keep our mouths zipped and locked. Yes, Hazrat Shaykhul Hadith has even written about the secrets behind all of this. You know, when I went to the old workers' door, Maulana Inamul Hasan was there, and he said that, listen, this chalak, pirak, this moving around, gush, 40 days, 4 months, whatever it is, all of it is so that we can answer the three questions in the qabr. On one occasion, somebody asked Hazrat Gangohi that tell me who's on haq, was it Hazrat Ali or Hazrat Muawiyah? He answered so beautifully by saying, tell me, will you be asked regarding that? Would you be asked regarding that? Allahu Akbar. Our mashayikh, हमारे mashayikh, खामोशी, हमारे mashayikh ने खामोशी इख्तियार किया, sukut, in this particular matter, absolute and total silence on this matter. Ashabi kan nujum bi'ayyihim iqtadaytum ihtadaytum. My Sahaba are like these guiding stars. Whichever one of them you would follow, you would most definitely be guided. So, the Sahaba, Allah Ta'ala selected them. He found the hearts of the Sahaba to be extremely pure, clean and eligible. So He selected them for the companionship of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Therefore, إِذَا سَخَّرَ اللَّهُ لِسَعِيدٍ, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes subservient for a fortunate person, makes certain people subservient for a fortunate person, فَكُلُّهُمْ سُعَدَاءُ, then the whole lot of them then become fortunate. Allahu Akbar. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of understanding this path of our Buzrugane-e-Deen. So, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam taught the Sahaba tasbihat in their khalawat, in their moments of solitude. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of making ittiba of these personalities according to your ilm. That's how much your path will open. Here we are discussing all about this. I was very affected by the recitation of the Quran Majid here. And the kuffar were also affected by it. And that's why they said, لا تسمعوا لهذا القرآن. Do not listen to this Quran. Perhaps you become overpowered. नगमा सरमदी सुना के हमें किसने मस्तो बेखुद बना Nagma is right, I'm losing that one there. So the Quran Majid was presented to me. I wonder who made me go out of control, meaning we're speaking about spiritually. So Muhammadun Abu Zuruk used to said this one day in his majlis, recited these couplets in the praise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muhammadun basharun la kal bashari bal huwa yaqutun bayn al hajari. That Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a human, but not just like any other human. Bal huwa yaqutun bayn al hajari. Rather, he is a precious gem, pearl, this precious stone amongst all other stones. I mean, these stones that you find on the side of the road. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is this gem. And he was then informed that because of this, his maghfirat, and everyone who was in that majlis, their maghfirat was made. You know, when I went to Nanota now, and I completed my discourse there, the people told me, the last time you came, and you told us that incident about the magicians, can't you repeat it for us? So I want to repeat it here for you people as well. They were these two sons of the magician who had passed away. They went to their father's grave and they asked their father, "Oh father, tell us, so what happened? Who was right? Were you right? Or was Musa right?" Alayhi salatu wassalam. The father says, "Listen, I can tell you so much, that go and see if you can get hold of his staff, his asa. If you can, then remember he is not a Nabi. And if you can't, then remember he is a Nabi." Nevertheless, they go and they find him resting in the desert, and he has his asa rooted at his head side. They said, "Oh wow, this is a wonderful opportunity, let's go." And they go, and when they are about to put their hands onto the staff, it turns into a huge serpent and starts pursuing them as they then ran off. Hazrat Maulana Rum takes this incident and then makes kalam. He says that Musa alayhi salatu wassalam was resting, but his mu'jiza, the asa, was awake. Similarly, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam Gumbad-e-Khadra mein istirahat farma hai, that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam is resting in the Gumbad-e-Khadra beneath the green dome. However, his mu'jiza, the Quran Majid, is alive. It is awake. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam is resting, but his mu'jiza is awake. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq of understanding. So this majlis has been carrying on for a long time, 35 years. Now let us make dua. Allahumma inna nas'aluka al-afwa wal-afiyah fi ad-deen wad-dunya wal-akhirah. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afwa fa'fu anni. Now Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam made talqeen and instructed Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha to recite this particular dua on Laylatul Qadr. Tonight also is a great possibility of being Laylatul Qadr. Let us recite this dua. Also, Allahumma a'atini imanan la yartaddu wa yaqinan laysa ba'dahu kufrun wa rahmatan analu biha sharfa karamatika fid dunya wal akhirah. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam did not say to his family people that I am your father or I am your husband, therefore everything is sorted. Rather, he said to them, wake up, turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, especially referring to the last 10 days of Ramadan, and even made talqeen of them of this particular dua of maghfirat. So let us make dua for afiyat also. I am feeling quite weak, Hazrat Wala is saying. Allah Ta'ala bless me with sihat and good health and take work from me. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا وأصلح ذات بيننا واهدنا سبل السلام ونجنا من الظلمات إلى النور وجنبنا الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن وبارك لنا في أسماعنا وأبصارنا وقلوبنا وأزواجنا وذرياتنا وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. Allah Ta'ala bless us with the barakat of this night and give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of reading this dua that I mentioned to you also and accept it on our behalf. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.